Hey guys, it's Carissa from the Budget Beauty Project. I saw these palettes and gift boxes from the Color Workshop available at Walmart, and I was curious about them. I had a product from them about 8 years ago that was complete garbage. I had to throw away everything but the lipsticks because you could not even see it on the skin, like zero pigment. But I'd heard that they've improved a little bit over the years. I was scouring YouTube and just online in general for some reviews of this year's products from them, and I could not find any from this year, or I don't even believe last year. So I've been kind of wanting to start a YouTube channel, and I thought, well, this will be a great first video. I'll just plop down those $20 and I'll review these products, and then if anybody else was curious about them, now you'll know if they're still garbage or if they really have stepped up their game. I didn't want to be a perfectionist. I decided I'm just going to jump into it and get started. So excuse the lighting, and also I have a bit of a cold. Excuse that as well. For this first video, I'm going to concentrate on this palette right here. It is 106 pieces for $9.88. So if even half of these are usable, I feel like that'd be a really great deal. You'd be able to create a lot of looks with this. It is 106 pieces, but it has these sponge tip applicators, so it's 104 shadows, and it is 54 mattes if I counted correctly, and so that would make 50 shimmers and satins. The shimmers, at least the ones down the middle, I can already pretty much guess that this is an overspray, so once you use it once or twice, that's going to be basically 104 mattes. But 104 mattes for $9.88, that seems like it's still a pretty good deal. You could have a lot of fun with this. I have swatched the outer two rows already, but the middle part's going to be a surprise for me as well. And let's just get rid of these sponge tip applicators. Let's get real close here so you can kind of see it. A little bit of glare there. Lots of really pretty colors. I think that if even half of them are usable, it could be a lot of fun. I'm going to swatch these row by row, like going vertically, and I'm not going to worry too much about the colors. Most of them are like romantic, ballet, baby. A lot of these colors don't make a lot of sense what they're called. I think some of them might even be switched. Some of the rows might be messed up because this one here says it's Sky, and that one is named Sunny. So Sky, Sunny, that doesn't really make sense. I'm a little curious as to whether they meant to do that. But anyway, without further ado, let's get to swatching. So once again, starting with this first row, I tried doing these with brush swatches because I just feel like that's more like what you're going to see on your eye. And I hate sticking my fingers in the product, but that's going to take way too long to do 104 colors. So we're going to do finger swatches. And that is the first one on the upper left-hand corner. And so that is a matte white. And then we've got this muted gray. It's a bit silvery when you apply it. I don't think that's a matte. Then we have a kind of a pewter color. Also kind of a satin. And then we're getting into these really deep blues. I think that's really pretty. And we have some lighter blues. I really like that one. Okay, get a close up on that. These outer two rows are really pigmented, especially the bright and dark colors. So I'm thinking they're doing way better than they did the last experience I had with this company. Let me wipe my arm here and we'll swatch the next row. I'm using these. This is what I always use for swatching. They are 40 for $1 at the Dollar Tree. I wouldn't recommend them for your face. They're kind of harsh, but they're really good for just cleaning up after swatching and playing around. We don't waste any money on the Budget Beauty Project. Moving along to the second row. So starting out with some lilacs and pinks. I like that brush swatched a lot better than its finger swatching. Kind of a mauve purple. Ooh, showed really nice. And this one I brush swatched once. I just want to show this to you guys. It is an overspray like nobody's business. Do you see that? That is one swipe of my brush. Do you see the outer corners? All shimmer. Now it's a matte. I can't show you the shimmer because I already swatched it. Sorry about that. But here's the matte that you're going to be left with after your first application. So I guess that's what's more important anyway. So there's that. And then we're getting into some black, gray purples. And kind of a midnight color. These are 2 finger swatches. Deep, deep blackish purple here. And then we have a really shimmery, silvery color here. Got some purple in it. 3 swatches to make it really show up. And let me show you again what happened with that overspray. Do you see that? Very cheap. But the color that's underneath there is not bad, so you know, if you're looking to save a little money, I think once again you can get some use of it even after the overspray is gone, which is going to be in 1 application. And then the last color in that row. Not very pigmented. Once again, 3 swatches here. Okay, so that is what that row looks like. I think I'm gonna do the outer 2 rows, or maybe the very outer row on the other side. It has a lot of pretty colors that swatched out really well. So we'll swatch those on camera, and then I might do the rest of them just showing you the finished swatch for the interest of time. So we're starting out with this aqua teal color, kind of matches my shirt. Oh, you guys, I love this color. I almost feel like for these 3 blues, maybe 4 blues on this row, and then these couple 3 blues on this row, that this was worth my $10 because I'm really into teals and aquas and turquoises. I really love these colors. Not transfer proof, obviously. Great. So pretty. It's really swatched better with a brush. That's really strange. Okay. Then we're getting into like a forest green. Then we have kind of a grassy green color. These are very pigmented. And then it's got 3 neutral shades. It's a brown, working down into more of a fleshy tone. It's got some sparkle to it. The next 2 I'm pretty sure are mattes. Maybe not. One's not as pigmented. I'm gonna do a 3rd swatch on that. Just, I really want to see what you can work it up to. And then it's kind of an orangey, fair flesh tone. Okay, so that is the last row on the right hand side. And I am in love with these first 3 colors. But like I said, not so transfer proof. You're gonna want to use a primer for sure. I feel like that'll make them blend pretty well. I'm gonna create a couple looks with this and see how it blends, see how it works, and maybe do a tutorial for you guys if it works out well. If it doesn't work out well, I will let you know that they're really hard to work with. For the rest of the video, I'm just going to show you the finished swatch of each row. I might go back to brush swatches since that'll be off camera, even though it's taking a little bit more time. We're going to do this row and then just work our way all the way down the palette. Okay, so here's the swatch of this row right here. And I feel like that is not bad for $10. You can't see the lighter colors very well. Not a lot of pigment there. Like I said, this is 3 brush swatches for each one. This one I did build up because I really wanted to see it. That's about 5 brush swatches, but the rest of them are 3. Cleaning, just wiping my brush off as I went. I think that one is a little patchy. Yeah. This one too. But they are pretty pigmented. I think you could work with them. Might just take a little bit of extra effort. So then moving on to the next row, we're gonna do this one. I'll swatch that and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, you guys, this is the swatch of the 4th row. Get as close here as I can. Starting here, you can barely see that. We're getting into these pinky purples. You still can barely see them. These earth tones were okay, though a little bit patchy. And then you have like a slightly satiny pale flesh tone, and then almost like a grayed out it looks like it could be a cheek highlighter, only it's slightly like, it's just not really silvery. It's like a rose gold with a little bit of gray in it. It's actually a very interesting color, but it's not very pigmented. So that's quite a shame. This row did kick up a little bit of dust. You basically are getting maybe one shade out of the 9 that is pigmented. The rest you can barely see, though you do get that one really interesting shade on the end. If you really wanted to build it up, you might be able to use it. I don't know. Not that impressive. Moving on to the 5th row, we will get an arm swatch of that and we'll see what the results are. Okay, so that is this row. This is the first row of these diamond shaped ones, which were highly shimmery with the overspray, and the overspray came off as soon as I touched my brush to it, as I knew it would. And here's the swatch. You can barely see it. Nothing very interesting in this row. Yeah, you can't see it. That's about all you need to know. You can't see it. And I'm moving on to this row. Now I'm reshooting this. I lost some of my footage, so you can't even see the overspray now. But when I swatched them the first time, after seeing what happened with this row, I just swatched the top so you could see where the overspray was lost. So that is what it looked like before. That is what it looked like after I swatched it. I'm gonna swatch it again though so that you can see it. Alright, so there's the swatch of that row. I've seen worse purples. Purples are the hardest to formulate, so those are not too terrible, but I've definitely seen a lot of better purples. Once again, there's this coppery one that you can barely pick up at all. And once again, the overspray is completely gone. And some of the colors really change in tone with and without the overspray. I'll show you that again. So like that one turned really green, kind of like an antique copper green when it was almost a gold. And this one went from copper to brown. Be moving on to this row, and you can see where I swatched them the first time and the overspray disappeared and they changed colors. Okay, so there is that middle row of shimmers, which are mostly blues. Seems like this company can do blues better than any other color, but it's still pretty patchy and not very pigmented, and there was just a ton of fallout it wasn't going all over the palette and making a mess, but as I was brushing it down my arm, it was just dust coming off the bottom of my arm. So you'd have to be really careful, and I think it'd be a lot of work for what it's worth. And then we'll move on to this row, and I'll have that for you in a second. Guys, I have somewhat mixed feelings about this next row. I was way more pleased with the first 3 colors than I thought I would be, which are these 3. They swatched out just really antique-y and interesting. They're not very pigmented. They are too light, but they're more kind of a unique color than I thought they would be. But then, moving into these 3, can you see that? So this is what I thought it would look like. This is what it did look like. I switched my brush completely between this one and this one to avoid contaminating it, and I was like, wait, did I really switch my brush? And I got another brush and I kind of dug into it, and yes, that is the color. It does not even resemble that, even remotely. And I mean, these were okay, not very pigmented. So let me show you that swatch again. That is the dark blue. You can't even see it. So, I mean, you can, but that's not really worth the work of 4 brush strokes to get that on there. So, I don't know. I don't know, you guys. It's kind of a fun toy, but I don't know if I'd call it real makeup. Let's move on to the next row. I'll see you in a few. You guys, we are on this row. I was a little bit more pleased with that one than I thought I would be. It kept its shimmer a little bit as I did 4 strokes through it. These 2 you could not see at all. This one, I'm like, what is happening? It's another one where the color completely changed once the overspray was off after just touching my brush to it. I mean, gone. Now it was gold, now it's dark green. What? So this is how it's swatched out. But so that one, it kept its shimmer a little bit. This one was my favorite. It's real coppery. I think it's very pretty, but it is patchy. I kind of rubbed it in a bit. You're gonna have to really work with these if you're gonna actually use them on your eye. You can't see that one or that one. These 2 are patchy, and also that was gold and now it's green. Great. So let's move on to the next row. See what happens. Maybe a mirror. Okay, you guys, we are on this first row of brown mattes. Well, one of them's a shimmer. They kicked up a lot of dust. They were the messiest row for sure. They swatched okay for a lot of brown neutrals. You are getting some variation in shades there. You could build up a lot of shading and highlight. I don't think it's that bad. This one is a shimmer. And it does have a bit of an overspray, but I think there's a little bit of shimmer throughout. The rest of them are mattes. So, gonna move on to the next row, which is corals and oranges. So that should be interesting. We'll see what happens. Okay, I think this row of oranges and corals is a hot mess. I'm gonna show you how that swatch. Do you see all this dust? It's kicking up dust all over my skin, but not sticking to where I put it. Do you see how the brush is wiping the product off? It is a really hot burning mess. Most of these are a slight satin finish. They're not matte. They're not a shimmer. There's like a little bit of shimmer in them, and I don't think it's an overspray. The first 6 were a lot better than the last 3. Let me try to show you guys this again. Oh my gosh. That is ridiculous. Do you see that? It's going everywhere except where you want it. I've never even seen makeup do that. That's pretty disappointing. Well, I guess I'm not that surprised, but it's a little bit disappointing. I'm gonna move on to this last row, because if you remember, we already did this row, which is pretty awesome. So we're gonna move on to these greens and grays. And I have already swatched these once before, and you can see right there where the overspray disappeared. So that'll be the last row, and we'll wrap this up. See you in a couple minutes. Okay, so we are on this row. Pretty bad. It reminds me a lot of, almost exactly like what I got from them about 8 years ago, which had a lot more mattes in it. Things weren't as shimmery back then. It wasn't the style. The greens were okay. Not too bad. This yellow, you can see it, so I mean it could be worse. But then these skin tone type of quality ones, very terrible. I know the lighting's not great in here, but you really cannot see them. That is kicking up all that dust on top again. It's not really wanting to go where you put it, so not that great. Wrapping up, I would say these blue colors are so fun. They might make the whole palette worth your $10. I don't know. I think this is really more of a toy than it is makeup. I was hoping it might be kind of like those Coastal Scent 88s. I don't have one of those, but I was hoping it would be like that only for $9.88 with 104 instead of 88, but it's not. It's not. I think there are maybe 10 shades in here that I really like, which is not that bad for slightly less than $10, I suppose. There are some that are just unbelievably terrible. They are kicking up dust everywhere, in addition to being an overspray, in addition to being patchy, and in addition to not even wanting to go where you put them. So that's pretty bad to have all 4 or 5 of those bad qualities in one shade. But, you know, you get what you pay for. I don't know. Sometimes you can find really, really great bargain products, but it's hit or miss. Sometimes you're taking a risk. I do think that this could make a fun gift for a girl who is maybe like 13 or 14, whatever age you feel is appropriate for girls to start wearing eyeshadow. 12, you know, it varies from family to family. But I know when I was in middle school, we called it junior high back then, but one of my main concerns with makeup was, what colors look good on me? I wanted my mom to buy every quad and trio that was in the store, and I didn't have a job in middle school. My mom was only going to buy me 1 or 2, and so, you know, you really want to experiment when you're that age. You don't know what colors look good on you. This could be fun for a really young girl, I think. Or if you manage to maybe get it when it's half off, it'll be less than $5. It might be like just fun to play around with, and those maybe 10 shades in there that are like the really vibrant, bright mattes are the best shades in here. So maybe just for those, it might be worth it when Christmas is over and they're half off. But for the most part, I don't think I would necessarily recommend it, even for $9.88. I did have a lot of fun playing with it, though, I'm not gonna lie. So that's my opinion of it. A few other things about it. Talc is the main ingredient in it. But talc is also one of the main ingredients like in Urban Decay and most high-end eyeshadows that I know of. It's definitely the main ingredient in most drugstore shadows, so you're going to be hard-pressed to get away from that. It is distributed by Markwins, which I've seen people talk about saying it's the same, it's made by the same company as Wet n Wild, and that's why they've stepped up their game over the years, and this is definitely better than the one I got like 8 years ago. But I don't think it's made by the same company. I think it's just distributed by the same company, and these eyeshadows do not perform like the current Wet n Wild shadows, which are amazing, amazing for the price. And, you know, even if it is the same company, that'd be like saying L'Oreal and Maybelline are the same as Urban Decay is the same as Armani, because Those are all owned by the L'Oreal group, so they're not the same as Wet n Wild. They just aren't. So they are distributed by the same company though, if that's interesting to you. Thanks for watching. I'm going to be making other videos concentrating on beauty on a budget and anti-aging on a budget. I'm going to try some home anti-aging remedies, and you can follow me as I go with those and see if I can make myself look younger for really cheap. So that's going to be a big part of what I do here. But it knows no boundaries of age. I'm going to be just doing a lot of things, just reviewing products just like this, just beauty on a budget. So definitely everyone's welcome here. I would love to have people in their 20s or in their 80s. So yeah, join me. We're going to be taking a little budget beauty journey. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure to like, and if you really liked it, please subscribe. Thanks. Bye guys.